Several Tesla vehicles were set ablaze early Tuesday outside a Tesla service center in Las Vegas, where the word "resist" was also painted in red across the building's front doors. According to Assosicted Press, authorities said at least one person threw Molotov cocktails, crude bombs filled with gasoline or another flammable liquid, and fired several rounds from a weapon into the vehicles. Attacks on property carrying the logo of Elon Musk's electric car company are cropping up across the US and overseas. While no injuries have been reported, Tesla showrooms, vehicle lots, charging stations and privately owned cars have been targeted. There's been a clear uptick since President Donald Trump took office and empowered Musk to oversee a new Department of Government Efficiency that's slashing government spending. Experts on domestic extremism say it's impossible to know yet if the spate of incidents will balloon into a long-term pattern. In Trump's first term, his properties in New York, Washington and elsewhere became a natural place for protest. In the early days of his second term, Tesla is filling that role. Musk critics have organized dozens of peaceful demonstrations at Tesla dealerships and factories across North America and Europe. Some Tesla owners, including a U.S. senator who feuded with Musk, have vowed to sell their vehicles. But the attacks are keeping law enforcement busy. Four Cybertrucks were set on fire in a Tesla lot in Seattle earlier this month. On Friday, witnesses reported a man poured gasoline on an unoccupied Tesla Model S and started a fire on a Seattle street. Stuck in space no more, NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams returned to Earth on Tuesday, hitching a different ride home to close out a saga that began with a bungled test flight more than 9 months ago. According to Associated Press, their SpaceX capsule parachuted into the Gulf of Mexico in the early evening, just hours after departing the International Space Station. Splashdown occurred off the coast of Tallahassee in the Florida Panhandle, bringing their unplanned odyssey to an end. Within an hour, the astronauts were out of their capsule, waving and smiling at the cameras while being hustled away in reclining stretchers for routine medical checks. It all started with a flawed Boeing test flight last spring. The two expected to be gone just a week or so after launching on Boeing's new Starliner crew capsule on June 5. So many problems cropped up on the way to the space station that NASA sent Starliner back empty and transferred the test pilots to SpaceX, pushing their homecoming into February. Then SpaceX capsule issues added another month's delay. Sunday's arrival of their relief crew meant Wilmore and Williams could finally leave. NASA cut them loose a little early, given the iffy weather forecast later this week. They checked out with NASA's Nick Hague and Russia's Alexander Gorbanov, who arrived in their own SpaceX capsule last fall with 2 empty seats reserved for the Starliner duo. Wilmore and Williams ended up spending 286 days in space, 278 days longer than anticipated when they launched. They circled Earth 4,576 times and traveled 121 million miles by the time of splashdown. "What a ride," replied Hague, the capsule's commander. "I see a capsule full of grins ear to ear." Dolphins circled the capsule as divers readied it for hoisting onto the recovery ship. Once safely on board, the side hatch was opened and the astronauts were helped out, one by one. Williams was next to last out, followed by Wilmore, who gave 2 gloved thumbs up.
And as standard, the recovery director and crew support teams were on that first helicopter out. That is crazy. Now that's it is. Driving the capsule to occur here and just be
It's awesome. They have Crew 9 home, just a beautiful landing. I think many of you heard that back in January, the president asked SpaceX what it would take to bring this crew home. And I will tell you that at the time that that question was asked, we were already looking at options, what to do with the Crew 10, Crew 9 situation and how we're going to set that up.
Mission is uncrewed or crude, and whatever the kind of crude mission is. You mentioned your discussions with Boeing. I'm just wondering, has Boeing given...
The International Space Station program, the Commercial Crew program, and SpaceX came up with the plan that we just witnessed. The Crew 10 launch last week, the docking over the weekend, the undock early today, and then the landing that we just witnessed.
Smiles, thumbs up, and away. Can't get any better than that.
You know, the thing I think back of this whole time frame is how really resilient Butch and Sonny were the whole time. I mean, they launched on what was going to be a short test flight with the crew flight test vehicle with Boeing, and then they moved very quickly into station increment operations, and they became seamlessly part of the International Space Station. And they did that because they're experienced astronauts, and we had prepared, right? We had flown gloves for them to do spacewalks, and we had flown a lot of components for them. So I think that shows the adaptability of crew member.
Adapted as this mission evolved, and appreciate all the kind words.
The fact that they flew up on the Boeing vehicle and home on SpaceX, this is a lesson learned for NASA too, such that when we do have Boeing and SpaceX both flying on a regular basis, we need to be able to do the opposite too. If we come up on a SpaceX vehicle and have a problem, to be bringing people home on a Boeing vehicle.
And team have been waiting for Dragon's splashdown, and they will now make their way to the splashdown location. Our Crew 9 team members will egress from the Dragon spacecraft. Now, here on your screen, we can see dolphins, actually, who want to come and play with Dragon. Now, one of the fast boats there in place, working to assist.
And there we do see Crew 9, some happy waves, smiles all around back on Earth.
Remember.
And that is NASA astronaut Nick Hague, commander of Crew 9. Now out of Crew Dragon Freedom.
As Alexander is slid down the little ramp and placed into the mobility aid. Again, big smile. An on-time splashdown. Oh, looks like we're getting our next crew member here. That is none other than Sunny Williams. Big smile, big waves. She, like her other crew members, now will be assisted onto the mobility aid.
There we have it, some waves, some thumbs up, and some smiles. We're getting some views of him now as he egresses or exits the spacecraft.
Once again, some elation and cheers there from Butch Wilmore.
Beginning to see that plasma trail as Dragon re-enters the Earth's atmosphere. All of that is expected. Altitude plane. And there you see it on your screen, drogue deployment.
Drogue descent rate nominal.
You can hear the crowd here.
And Pacific time this afternoon. And there we go.
We have visual on 4 healthy mains.
That view was from inside.
Freedom copy.
That
Copy,
was
600.
That was a live view from our recovery vessel off the coast of Tallahassee, Florida.
And splashdown. Crew 9 back on Earth.
And SpaceX Freedom, splashdown. Good main release.
Copy, splashdown. We see main chutes cut.